Let me introduce myself. My name is Maxim Ульянова. I'm a first-year student of Volgorečensk Industrial Technical School. Volgorečensk is a small industrial town, not far from Kostrom. I'd like to present a project about industrial heritage of County Darem. Darem is a land of miners and a cradle of railways. Volgorečensk is a town of power engineers. At first sight we are so different. Despite this fact, I believe we have very much in common. And first of all, these are wonderful, hard-working people. I hope my work will be interesting for you. Thank you.
The Northeast is the oldest intensive coal mining district in the country. Coal is mentioned in the records of County Darem as early as the 12th century. In the 13th and 14th centuries, coal became more widespread, with demand spurred on by ever-expanding towns and increasing population. Darem's prince-bishops had own rights to the mining of coal within their realm. The Limely mine was owned by the monks of Finchal Priory near Darem and consisted of a drift mine, with recesses for candles to light the mine. Coal mining activity had continued to increase in the 16th and 17th centuries. It also drove on the development of steam locomotives and the great railway or age of steam. By 1810, the idea of building a railway was suggested. It was an idea that led to the Stockton and Darlington Railway of 1825. The Stockton and Darlington was the world's first public railway, which is yet another feature of County Darem's rich railway heritage. The 27th of September 1825, the day of the grand opening of the road. The results of the road's operation justified all hopes. First of all, passengers traffic has greatly increased and proved to be very profitable. Secondly, the transportation of coal and farms products has become much cheaper. Colliery Railway was enabled the coal mines to be opened slightly further away from the rivers Tyne and Wear. This was a great advantage of the water transport. The northeast of England can easily claim to be cradle of railways. Hatton Colliery Railway and its locomotives were the creation of George Stephenson. George Stephenson is a brilliant engineer who is known all over the world as a designer of steam locomotives and railways. The story of his life is an instructive example of achieving a dream. A steam engine could pull 50 times the load that horses could draw on iron rails. Stephenson locomotives served as model for the Stockton and Darlington Railway. One of his locomotives that worked at the colliery is now preserved at Beamish Museum. Meanwhile, as mines go deeper, safety became a problem. Gas explosions were the major danger. In 1815, Humphrey Davy and George Stephenson developed the miner's safety lamp. This reduced the danger of explosion. Coal mining continued to grow throughout the later 19th and early 20th century. This development of coal mining in Darem brought about a tremendous increase in the population of Northeast, as many previously rural villages grew into small colliery towns almost overnight. In 1787, there were around 7,000 collieries employed in the coal mines of Northeast England. In 1919, there were 154,000 coal miners working in the county of Durham. It reached a peak in County Durham in 1923. Then 117,000 miners were employed in the industry. However, in the latter half of the 20th century, collieries began to decline. One major event in the history of the mines was the nationalization of the industry in 1947. By the time of nationalization, the number of miners in County Durham had fallen to 108,000 and there were 127 collieries. The closures continued throughout the 80s and 90s, despite vehement protest from the miners and their unions, and an often violent miner strike. Today the collieries have gone, the deep mining in the region stopped, and the centuries-old history with coal came to an end. The coal mining sites have now been landscaped out of recognition. The exception is, of course, the recreated pit heap in the colliery area of Beamish Museum near Stanley in County Durham. Beamish. A wonderful place, there the life of Victorian England is recreated. A former coal mine and mining village has been transformed into a wonderful open-air museum. The former mining areas still retain their own individuality and identity, and there is still often a strong community spirit associated with colliery districts. In 1996, Mark Hamill directed for the wonderful film Blast Off. Film is based on real events. It is about the troubles faced by a colliery brass band following the closure of their pit. The film is set 10 years after the year-long strike in 1984-85, depleted of resources. The miners were unable to continue a resistance against the policies of the government. The loss of hope, pride and fighting spirit in what were previously proud mining communities was the basis for the idea of being blast off, an expression used in the north of England meaning angry. The film surprisingly combines a comedic plot, sharp criticism of Margaret Thatcher's reforms, a culture of class solidarity of miners, a love of art. The English characters who are ready to support each other are encouraging with their love of life.